Hey y'all, welcome back to Spilling the Reality with Kiley and Alex. On the Russell Hantz Show, we are going to be bringing you everything you need to know that happened yesterday in the Big Brother 22 house. We know that we got the final veto competition of the summer, and that is all important. So we will talk about who won, what their plan is for who they are going to evict, and probably talk about some final three scenarios. So if you're joining live with us, make sure you drop a comment, give us your thoughts, tell us what you think about this week, about this season, air out your frustrations, whatever you want to do. So let's talk about yesterday in the Big Brother house. Day 74, we're just 10 days away from the end of the season. Like, it's kind of hard to believe, y'all. It's gone in ways really slow because it's been so predictable. But then I also feel like we just started. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a whirlwind. I still remember it feels like opening the first day was just last week.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, there was so much promise. Janelle, Kaser,
Those were good
Keisha,
days. Those were
the
good.
good the good old days when there was still a little bit of hope. So yesterday, before the veto competition, we do get Christmas doing some cam talking like we know she likes to do, and she explains why she was being a Grinch yesterday. And she says that she was upset that Enzo nominated her. Let's talk about the rationale of this
Mhm.
because why Christmas?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can see it from her mindset. In her mind, she sees who the person should be going out, and she's seeing it as being Cody because in that scenario, she thinks by getting Cody out of the game, she's in his position where either Nicole or Enzo will take her at final three. Whether or not she can win is a different question, but
Yeah.
that would be her path to get to the end.
Right. No,
So,
I think her line of thought there is great, but in reality, whoever is nominated at Final Four doesn't matter.
oh yeah,
It's kind of like, you know, if you make it to Final Four, I feel like since there's basically no options, you've made it. You didn't get nominated. So, Kristen's getting this upset because she was in her bed crying for the majority of the day on Friday. No kidding. Like it was that upsetting to her. And she said that she just had a vulnerable moment. She needed to let her emotions out, but she's not checked out of the game. And she's going to win this veto. Competition Christmas coming through.
yeah, absolutely. Comp beats Christmas. If she can win any game that's thrown to her, she can win any game that isn't.
Right. She definitely is like, it's okay. I'm going to win this veto. And we do get some conversations with Cody and Enzo before the veto competition. And Enzo is worried about Cody's mindset. And he's like, I don't know, yo. Like, he just doesn't seem like his head's in it. And Christmas seems so calm. And I'm worried about him, yo. And we see a lot of studying before the veto comp. Everybody's just kind of in their own space, coming up with, going through the days, trying to figure out where everything is. The feeds go down for the veto competition, and when they come back up, we have a veto winner. And drum roll, guys, Cody, he pulls it out. Shocker! The guy that has won 7 competitions this season. I mean, absolutely has completely dominated.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And in a game like Big Brother, you unlike other reality shows, competition wins, especially in more recent years of Big Brother, have been more of a precedent for someone who has like the winner upside because that's what a lot of regular players in a newbie season would respect more because it shows,
Hmm.
oh, you won the power, you're the one who's controlling or dictating what's going to happen during the week. So, it's impressive for Cody to be able to win that many competitions while at the same time, no one feeling threatened enough to try to put him on the block, even people within his own alliance trying to think forward.
Right. So, guys, like, that's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
Cody
You know?
basically won BB22 yesterday, and he kind of knows it. So he's in I can't remember which room, the love room maybe, and he's celebrating. He's like, let's go!" Shouts out to Derek and his girlfriend, and he's just he has played so much of Derek's game this season, but also combined with Cody's game. And, we've given him a lot of hate for his pregame alliance, but in the big scheme of things, he did still have to come in and get the comp wins and execute. So he might have been set up with some people coming in, but he has pulled it off flawlessly. I mean, he's played Derek's game in that he didn't touch the block, but he's also played Cody's game in that he's won a hell of a lot of competitions.
Oh yeah, and like go on that. You always see in returning seasons, for people who want to try to win the game, they normally try to mimic their games off of the person who won their season.
Right.
Obviously, it works even better for him that he's best friends with Derek outside the show as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you can say whatever you want about pregame things happening. Just because you do stuff in the pregame, once you're in the Big Brother house and you start working and you start getting to know everyone else, it doesn't mean that's going to work. It just so happened that in this situation, he was able to keep everyone in line.
I mean, yeah, he kept everybody in line. There were a few times, like, we saw the Tyler and Dani split happening pretty early on, and things, worked out in his favor. Some of that was his gameplay, in that, we talked about how he decided to tell Enzo about the committee and not Tyler. And these are all little nuances of Cody's game that I think in hindsight is going to make his winning season a top winning season. Just absolute dominance.
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's boring gameplay, but we've seen it time and time again. The boring game is the winning game.
Yeah. And we talked off air a little bit. The only competitions that weren't won by the committee or the core four, because that includes Enzo, Kevin's veto, Davon's veto, and Kaser safety suite. I mean, just as an alliance, they completely dominated.
Yeah. What else is there to say? It's a wrap. It's done, yo.
It's done, yo. J Job says Cody equals Jackson in terms of gameplay and comp wins, minus the extreme racism of Jackson. Right. At least Cody is an enjoyable person, and I don't have a bad taste in my mouth if he is our winner. And, I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now that after all of my favorites got eliminated, I have been rooting for Cody because the
Yeah.
others just haven't played the type of game that he's played. So I'm not going to be upset with a Cody win.
Neither will I. I always go in wanting. I don't try to put a rooting interest into anyone because I want to see how the game lines up, and I want to see the best game player win. And in this season, it's Cody.
Right.
And with the other two, I'm sure we're going to explain it later on or in your future episodes. There's weaknesses in both of their games where I think Cody has his strengths.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not often that you get a really fun winner that also played really strategically. I mean, when you think about it in terms of, okay, who comes to mind from any competition shows that you think of? Obviously, Tony. Like, crazy entertaining, really strategic too, loyal. I mean, Tony's kind of the whole package. And so, no, Cody isn't Tony's level of entertainment, but
Yeah. And he's not a Dr. Will, he's not a Dan Giesling.
right.
But you with his win here, obviously there's asterisks involved due to the pregame, but you still have to respect the power that he controlled in this game. You have to see him as an upper tier winner at the end of this.
Right. Absolutely. I agree with that. So Ed asks, should Cody cut Nicole? So let's talk about some final three scenarios. Obviously, we know Cody says it after the veto competition. He is cutting Christmas. He doesn't even want to talk about it. I think everybody knows. I think Christmas knows. And so they really have a chill game, a chill day after the veto competition. They play games, they play charades, they ask questions. I mean, they're just hanging out like they're at camp. So that really does like almost end the strategy talk. It's done. There will be some decisions made, obviously, based on who wins final three. So let's talk about it. We know that part one of the final three competition is going to be endurance. And do you think Enzo or Nicole can beat Cody in part one of the endurance comp?
Obviously, it depends what the endurance comp is, but I would say in more iterations than not, you sort of have to put Cody as the favorite there.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like there's almost no scenario where Cody doesn't win part one.
Yeah.
And Nicole is even talking to Cody about it and is telling him how she's not even concentrating on part one, which Cody's like, yes, this is great news for me because Nicole is probably his competition in a endurance comp. And she says that she is concentrating on part two, which is typically putting events in order. So she's convinced that that's where she's going to be stronger than Enzo. And I mean, she's pretty much just counting herself out of it. Like, yeah, you've won part one. So Cody wins part one. It comes down to him and one of the other two in part three. I feel like part three is kind of a toss up. That is the one thing that I don't like about the final HOH competition. If they do what the bleep or
the jury stuff.
yeah, or jury questions like, did Dani say that she most enjoyed hanging out with her friend Nicole or scaring Cody? I mean, like that is what? That's such a crapshoot. So I hate that the final competition comes down to that, but we'll see which version they want to go with this time.
I think, but to go back to the original question of whether or not Cody should be the one to cut Nicole, I'm not sure because I know as much as Nicole and Cody have said it time and time again, you can clearly tell from the beginning they were like, yes, we will be final two. I'm fine sitting next to you. And I had my reservations about that in earlier parts of the season, but as the season kept going on, and there was opportunities for one or the other to try to get the other person out without blood being on their hands. They didn't do it.
Right.
So I feel like it would be, especially with someone like Nicole. Nicole takes a lot of things very personal. Like there's a very big emotional aspect that you have to keep in mind there. So I think the only way he can do that is if he finds a way to get Enzo to part three and let Enzo win. Enzo cuts Nicole. Nicole will vote for Cody. Because then more times than not, you see the person who gets cut at three doesn't normally vote for the person who cut them.
Right, exactly. You do have that bitterness. There's no time to digest it. I mean, it's basically like, okay, your shot at $500,000 is up. Now you got to go give the money to somebody else. And so I do think that that is kind of a raw deal for whoever makes that decision. But yeah, I don't know. I really think that Cody will take Nicole. Who do you think gives Cody a better run for his money? Enzo or Nicole? Who has a shot at beating him?
Well,
or does anybody?
that's a hard thing to say because the other thing we have to keep in mind is the jury doesn't always just vote for who they think played the best.
Right.
A lot of times in Big Brother, you see who was nicer to them on their way out, who treated them like a human being. Like you hear that a lot with them, like that this person treated me with respect, and because of that, I respect the game that I've seen them play and have heard when other people have come in. Like a lot of people liked Enzo, but I don't know if they'll vote for him because I don't know how articulate he can be.
Right.
And like I just think people would respect how Cody played more. So
yeah.
I think it would be Nicole that would have the bigger run, but she would have a hill to climb with some of the people she burned.
Yeah, I've said that a few times that I worry about Enzo being able to articulate his game without saying yo. Cody's not necessarily much higher up on the old IQ scale, and so I don't know that he's going to do a lot better, but at least Cody's got the wins and the decisions to back him up. And I do feel like there's several people in the jury that maybe don't respect Enzo's game because he was in a critical position multiple times to take a shot that would have weakened Cody or taken a shot at Cody, and he didn't take them. So I have a hard time seeing them rewarding him,
Yeah.
even though he has played obviously a great social game. Nobody is mad at Enzo. So there's that. But I agree. Nicole has the better chance at beating Cody in the final two chairs. I don't see it happening. I feel like Dani is really bitter. I don't know how Ian's feeling about it, if he can respect what Nicole did game wise, because obviously he doesn't know what we know about like the bullying type stuff. Um, and Davon. I have those three as big question marks for Nicole being able to get their votes.
Yeah. Like I can't really see a world where Davon votes for Nicole again. Just like based off what Devon has said, we've seen Devon not be like not lie really to us about her thoughts on like, if this person did this, I'm gonna remember it this time around. I may have voted for them this time or last time, but I'm keeping notes, and she is someone to hold a grudge. So
yeah, absolutely. And I don't see a scenario where Memphis doesn't vote for Cody. I think his vote is completely locked up. And we keep teasing, but Friday we are going to, once Christmas is officially evicted, Friday show, we will do a breakdown of where we see the jury votes going, kind of have a discussion and really get into it. But I just feel like this is it, guys. Like he won it yesterday. I don't even feel like there's a lot of strategy to go on. It's just a matter of, does Cody decide to pull the Richard Hatch and not win the final competition so he doesn't have to make the decision?
And honestly, that might be his best choice to do.
Right. I mean, then he locks up both of their votes. J Job says, Kiley, what about a pro woman vote in today's climate? Any chance of that in the jury? I feel like you've got the best chance of that happening with Davon. I think she's already done that. Been there, done that with Nicole previously, and with her feelings towards Nicole about the situation with David. I don't see Davon doing it. And honestly, as much as they might have talked like, hey, it would be great to have two women there, they also evicted woman, woman, woman. So I don't think so. I don't think we see it. But I mean, how fitting for 2020 if that is what it comes down to. Like, I'm a woman, but I wouldn't want anyone to vote for me just because I'm a woman. I would want them to vote for me because I deserved it. So I don't know. There's not a lot there, y'all. Let's see. Anything else happen? Okay, we do get just a slight little bit more of jealousy. Nicole can't quite let it go, and she's talking once again about how she uninvited Janelle from her wedding in her goodbye message, and like, I can't believe I did that, and I shouldn't have done that. That's not me. That was Dani pushing me. And so, y'all, she just throws Dani under the bus. Come on, Nicole. Like, this is my problem with you. Own it, girl. Own it.
Yeah, you had to own it. You don't put the blame on Dani. Yes, Dani wanted Janelle out too, but Nicole had all of her feelings about Janelle heading into the season.
Right.
Dani just like sort of her signaling it just made Nicole feel okay. It's okay to be like this.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Ed asks, if Nicole wins, where is she ranked? I mean,
I would say high up. It doesn't matter what you think of her as a person.
right.
the fact that she would be able to win 2 winning games as a returner and as a winner with like minimal time on the block. Like say what you
Yeah.
want about her, but that takes skill. You have to respect it. I wouldn't say she's number one, even with the 2 wins, but you have to give her more credit than I think people give her.
Right. I mean, I think that she will literally be the Sandra of Big Brother in that people, yeah, you've got those 2 wins, but people are always going to say, but when they talk about Nicole. So,
Yeah, I
but
just hope she gets thicker skin from it.
but her $1 million says that she's not going to give a damn what people say. Well, I wouldn't give a damn what people say. She will. But anyways, yeah, guys, so that's pretty much your live feed update. We do get a little bit of drama outside of the Big Brother house yesterday with our girl Kat. She's going to bring the tweet of the day just to set it up a little bit. She tweeted at Robin Cass, who does casting for Big Brother and also Love Island, and it's like, hey, girl, like, why didn't you cast me for Love Island? And Robin Cass jokingly tweets back, because this is for people that only want one boyfriend at a time. And, like, yes, it's kind of like a burn at Kat, but they're friends and it's a joking type of thing. Well, out of the woodwork comes Holly Allen, and we've talked about how Holly and Kat had a falling out and they don't have a friendship anymore. And Kat screenshots and then tweets out, girl doesn't like any tweets until 2018 unless it has to do with me. Rent free, I tell you. And so she shows Holly's likes on Twitter, and until she liked something calling Kat out for how people from their cast don't like her that much and are trying to not associate with her. And then she likes Robin Cass's statement from this. And so Kat is like, girl, where are you coming from? But what is so funny about this is that she then, further on with her tweets and says, at Janelle Pierzina, hi, I need your advice on how to evict myself from a bitch's head. So, like, you gotta love Kat. She's always entertaining. I think she's been our tweet of the day 3 days in a row. There's not a lot of content out there, but Kat always brings the entertainment. So there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else. What other comments we have? Let me see. Okay. Okay, Alex.
Yeah.
Who was Alex's pick before the season and who is Alex's pick now?
Well, like I said earlier, I didn't really try to make a pick, but when I viewed the cast, like the people I was looking forward to seeing, and I thought had upside, I did see Cody as someone that could win a game, so he was on my radar. Tyler was on my radar, and honestly, my low key one that didn't pay off for obvious reasons was I thought Kevin could have played a better game than he did.
Yeah.
Like, I saw how he played in BB11, and I thought, oh, some of these people are not going to remember how he played. If he can get through a couple votes, he can just sink his teeth into the middle and just ride it out, sort of like where Enzo ended up. But those are my 3. And then, obviously, my pick now is Cody. I respect game above all else, and he's played a really good game.
Yeah, there it is. So
it's a wrap.
That's a wrap, yo. All right, so happening today, nothing in the Big Brother house. I'm sure Christmas will be campaigning to Cody. She's, not going to go down without a fight, which is what she should do. But it's not going to sway him, and not a lot else. No episode tonight because they have moved to Monday nights. So tomorrow we will have the veto ceremony where Enzo's nominations will be locked in, and an episode Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So coming up for us here, let me see. We have a special guest coming on with us Tuesday. We will have Nicole Anthony. So make sure that you are dropping us some questions for Nicole. We will get her thoughts on what has happened since she's been evicted from the season. We will talk about, if she's got any regrets from her gameplay, if she's gotten to reconnect with Janelle, and just get a life update from Nicole. So make sure you are following us on Instagram and Twitter, where we will tweet out anything that you really need to know at reality_TRHS. Alex, where can people find you?
If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at TRHS95. Same with my Instagram, but really, I would say join the Patreon group for the Russell Hantz show. That's where I'm more active. There's a really great community there talking about all reality TV that's going on, as well as sports and orgs that are going out online. So if you want to catch me, follow me on my social media or get added onto the Russell Hantz Show Patreon group.
Yeah, we really are like a family. We have so much fun. So come join us and just catch up with everything that's going on. So we will be back tomorrow at noon with all of the updates that you need to know. And make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the Russell Hantz Show. And we will see you guys later. Bye, y'all.
Bye.